You know that feeling, right? That heavy-headed nod on the train home after a long day. Your chin drops to your chest just for a second, but a second is all it takes. That was me last Tuesday. My shift ran late, way past midnight, and the city was already winding down. I remember the familiar rumble of the subway, the gentle rocking that always lulled me to sleep. I blinked, and the car was a sea of empty seats. Just me under the pale, buzzing lights. My heart did a little jump. I scrambled to my feet, peering out the window. We were pulling into a station, but the name was unfamiliar. The sign was dark, the platform deserted. A shiver traced its way down my spine. The train slowed, but it didn't stop. The doors stayed shut, and we just kept going. I pressed the emergency button, but there was no response. Nothing. Just the rhythmic clatter of the wheels on the track, a lonely sound in the sudden, deafening silence. I moved from car to car, my footsteps echoing unnervingly. Each one was the same, empty. The lights flickered, casting long, dancing shadows that played tricks on my eyes. Was that a person in the corner? No, just a discarded newspaper. My reflection stared back at me from the dark windows, a pale, wide-eyed ghost. I tried prying the doors open at the next station, then the next, my panic growing with each failed attempt. The train was a steel trap, and I was caught inside. I eventually sank back into a seat, exhausted and defeated. The city lights outside blurred into streaks of gold and white, a world I couldn't reach, and that's when I saw him. One moment, the seat across from me was empty. The next, he was there. A man dressed in a simple, dark suit. He wasn't old, but he wasn't young either. His face was timeless. I hadn't heard him come in. The connecting doors hadn't opened. He was just there. He looked at me, and a slow smile spread across his lips. It wasn't menacing, not exactly. It was more like he was in on a secret I didn't understand. "You missed your stop," he said. His voice was calm, a low rumble that seemed to vibrate through the floor of the car. I stared at him, my mind racing. How did he know? I must have fallen asleep, I stammered. "It's fine, I'll just get off at the next one." He shook his head, that patient smile never leaving his face. "There's no next one." The words hung in the air between us, heavy and final. A cold dread, colder than the air conditioning, washed over me. "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "Where is this train going?" He just looked out the window, at the endless black tunnel rushing past. "Forward," he said simply. Always forward. The train began to slow again, but this time it felt different. It wasn't the gentle deceleration for a station. It was a heavy, grinding crawl. The rhythmic clatter of the wheels faded, replaced by a low hum that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. I looked at the man, but he was just watching me, his expression unreadable. "What's happening?" I demanded, my voice shaking. The lights flickered once, twice, and then plunged us into complete, absolute darkness. The sensation was terrifying. It wasn't just dark, it was a void. The humming stopped. The movement stopped. There was no sound, no light, no feeling of motion. It was like the universe had just ceased to exist. I held my breath, waiting for something, anything. And in that suffocating blackness, I felt a gentle push. Not a physical push, but a feeling of being released. I shot up in bed, gasping for air, my heart hammering against my ribs. Sunlight streamed through my window, birds were chirping outside, and the familiar scent of my own apartment filled my lungs. My sheets were tangled around my legs. It was morning. My alarm was about to go off. It was just a dream, a nightmare. That's all it was. I laughed, a shaky, relieved sound. Just a crazy, vivid nightmare brought on by exhaustion. I went about my morning routine, trying to shake the lingering sense of unease. The images from the dream were so clear, the feeling of dread so real. As I was getting my wallet and keys, my hand brushed against my transit card. On a whim, I pulled it out. I just reloaded it the day before. I tapped my phone to check the balance. The app loaded and I felt the blood drain from my face. The balance was correct, but when I looked at the trip history, my stomach dropped. There was the ride to work from yesterday morning, and then another entry, a ride from last night. But there was no destination listed, no station name, no endpoint. Just the entry fare, and beside it, one extra ride, still waiting to be taken. I haven't taken the subway since. I walk now. Or I take the bus. I tell myself it was just a glitch in the system, a computer error. But sometimes, late at night, when the city is quiet, I can almost hear the rumble of a train that never stops. And I wonder if I ever fall asleep on the ride home again, will he be there, waiting for me? Will he tell me that this time there's no waking up? Thanks for watching. If you have any creepy stories of your own, share them in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more strange tales. Sleep tight.